All right, joining me today is the man behind OU softball home run tracker, Terry Price. Thank you for joining me today, Terry.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate it. I look forward to it.
And you're joining me from Atlanta at a baseball game. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have a workshop tomorrow in Atlanta, so we came in today and we are at the Braves Dodgers game. Starts here in about 45 minutes.
Awesome. Well, hopefully the Braves will pull one out here. So, before we get into everything, first off, tell me about the Twitter account and kind of how you got started with that.
So back actually in 21, OU starts off and they're on this home run tear, and everybody's talking about breaking breaking the records, and there's all these accounts that Oklahoma, just like Clemson, big football school, and all kinds of accounts that are dedicated to football. But there wasn't a lot of accounts that were just dedicated to softball. And so I got this idea. You know what? We're going to track these home runs, track the stats. I'm a math guy, and so I kind of converted my account over, dedicated it to Oklahoma softball and tracking home runs for the Sooners. And obviously, 21 was an amazing season. Last year with Jocelyn breaking the record was another amazing season as far as home runs, and it's been fun.
So, Oklahoma is the number one seed for a reason. They're strong top to bottom from the plate to their pitching staff with the ERA of .88. What can Clemson fans expect to see out of this really good Oklahoma squad?
Well, I mean, this OU team is just, I don't know. It's just Patty Gasso's done an amazing job of putting something together that you just you don't see on literally any other team. Um, something I've talked about on my Twitter account is how OU has 10 hitters that are batting over 325 and have over 90 at bats. And you look at the other teams in the final 16 and the super regionals, and I think there's one with five, several with four, a lot with two. Bama doesn't have any. Um, and I think that Clemson's kind of on par as far as pitching is concerned. I mean, they've got three great pitchers. Um, I'm not sure there's two other teams like Clemson and Oklahoma that have three pitchers they could go to that have the stats that they do. And so it's going to be, I think, a great series. I think Clemson's a little bit underrated. Maybe their schedule they played's not been as good as what some of these other teams, and I think they were kind of downgraded a little bit because of that. But you take that Florida State series away, and Clemson had an amazing season. They had an amazing season regardless, but getting swept by Florida State, I think, hurt them a little bit.
Yeah, the last week or so regular season didn't help them out either. As a Clemson fan, I wish they would have ended up with the 15 seed, considering what happened last weekend. They would have been hosting in Clemson, but the Sooners have not lost since mid-February. Went undefeated in conference play. Who were some of the key players in this Oklahoma squad that the Tigers need to keep an eye out for?
So, the batting order is going to start off with Jada Coleman and then Tiare Jennings. I'm sure every Clemson fan is very familiar with those two. They're going to get the Sooners started. Um, I think both those players were in the top 10 of National Player of the Year finalists. But some other players outside of that, transfer Haley Lee has been huge for OU at the plate. She's basically played the DH, caught a little bit for the Sooners this year, but she's hit some bombs. Another player in that lineup is our catcher, Kinsey Hansen. She's an amazing behind the plate, does a good job with those pitchers, and she's going to be big for the Sooners. Somebody who you might see come off the bench in a pitch hit situation is also another one of our catchers, Sophia Nugent. I mean, she's hit some absolute bombs this year. I don't know if she's hit a home run that didn't go over the bleachers in the outfield. It's got a really great bat, and so Clemson will probably see her, and that may be be a name they're not as familiar with.
Knowing this Oklahoma squad, what areas does Clemson need to exploit to make this a competitive series with the Sooners?
Well, I mean, they're going to have to really control the Sooners uh, at the plate. I think they have the pitching to go head to head with this lineup, but it's going to be 1 through 9. And then, like I said, there's going to be some girls that come in and pitch hit that can do an amazing job. If they can find a way to slow OU down at the plate, then they're going to have a chance to win the game. If they allow you to kind of get on some of those momentums that they get on, I mean, once they get, there's times where they just get a couple of hits, score 1 run, the team gets excited, and that excitement just builds and it turns into, 4, 5, 6 run inning. If they can keep that from happening, it'll be a good series this weekend.
Well, I have you. I can't not ask. Clemson's former defensive coordinator Brent Venables is now over there, the head coach for the football team. What's the vibe around the fan base there with him heading into year 2 of the football program?
Well, honestly, after last season, there is some skepticism, but I think overall, OU fans know what Brent's capable of doing with the defense. They not only had a great recruiting class this year, they had a great recruiting class when Brent came in just after being there a month or so. And he has also done an amazing job in the portal, especially on the defensive side. I think OU fans expect the defense to improve. If we see an improved defense, I think we'll see improvements in the win column. And I think overall there's a lot of excitement around what's going on with OU football, and especially with the move to the SEC. I think it can only go up from last season, obviously.
Well, Terry, tell our listeners how they can follow you on Twitter and what kind of content you'll be putting out this weekend with the Super Regionals.
So they can follow me on Twitter at HR Tracker Sports, and I will be tweeting out some, maybe on Friday, maybe not as much during the game because I will be at the game. Saturday, I'll be at the house, probably be tweeting a little bit more. I tweet a lot of stats, try to tweet a lot about what's going on during the game, and we'll try to provide some good information for everyone that's following about both teams. I want to say I'm really impressed with what Clemson has done in such a short time. And I think most OU fans really respect that. I think the Clemson fans that come to the game, they'll see how much OU fans appreciate good plays. If Clemson has a good play, they're going to get an ovation from the OU fans. It's not going to be boos and cheers like you might see at some places. I think they really do respect what Clemson's done in such a short time.
Absolutely. And looking at your Twitter page today, I noticed you got quite the tailgate setup that you do for a lot of the softball games. What all you have in that whole tailgate setup? It looked like a smoker, a grill.
So we got a smoker, a griddle. I set up a tent. We've got our TV going. Unless it's a 3-game series, I don't know that we'll do the tailgate this weekend. If we play on Sunday, I will set up, but I don't fly back in from Atlanta till 10 o'clock. I just won't have time to set up on Friday. And like I said, I won't be able to be there Saturday. But if there's a Sunday game, we'll set up. We'll be going. And we usually cooking burgers, some pulled pork, giving out free sandwiches. And if there's any Clemson fans coming, I hope they stop by. We're right across from the stadium. You can't miss us. They're welcome to come join us. Maybe watch the start of another super regional game and get something to eat.
Well, Terry, I appreciate you taking the time, especially being at a Braves game. Look forward to following your content this weekend, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.